Okie dokie artichoke. So welcome to IG Live 13 in a row, I think is what the streak is at right now. And I'm gonna wait till we get some people in here. As always, if you're new here, let me just explain how we kind of run things here, how I like to run things. So as you're tuning in, let me know what your name is and where you're tuning in from, like what city you're from, right? I'll give you a little shout out, and we'll get into today's Q&A, yeah? So we got Stacy from Scotland checking in, and yeah, just let me know where you guys are from, and I could say what's up. And yeah, I hope you're having a great Friday. I had a busy Friday today, so a little tired to be honest with you, but we're doing this. Non-negotiable, we're doing this because this is important and we prioritize these on Fridays. So I'm gonna say what's up to you guys a little bit. As I said, Stacy from Scotland. What is going on, Stacy? We got Kyle from Detroit. We got Reese from Ohio. We got another Scotland checking in. Alex from Glasgow, Scotland. Greg from LA. We got Jess from Wisconsin. I'm assuming Nikki from Cali, Demi from Wales, Sid from Salt Lake City, little Utah checking in, David from Dallas, Romana from England, Tennessee checking in, Jason from Nigeria, Sergio Albuquerque, New Mexico, Dylan from ATL, SoCal, St. Louis, all right, Miami, let's go, and Nicole from Florida. Yeah, sorry if I didn't get you. Ella from LA. And yeah, so Jordan from Jersey. Let me know as you're coming in real quick. And yeah, I'm Connor from. I'm gonna say Connor from Pittsburgh because that's what I am. So, all right, so we're gonna talk about some taboo topics today, if you don't mind me. So just like topics that I like always talk about. You know what I mean? Like, you know, OnlyFans, sex, dating, faith. You know, a lot of these things that like you always hear me talk about, you know what I mean? So, yeah, we'll get into that a little bit. But like I said, let me know if you're catching this on the replay, if you're catching on the replay. So I'm actually going to post this because I feel like we got some good stuff on here that could help you a little bit. So, yeah, that's just my little script, my little intro script welcoming you guys in. And, yeah, let's get into it. Why don't we? All right, so yeah, I got 10 questions this time. Usually I do 5. The past like month or so, I've been doing about 5 questions, but this time I got some good ones, and so I was like, all right, let's up it a little bit. Let's like double it to 10. I feel like that's a good number, right? So we got 10 questions. Some of the questions are gonna be like double questions, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna like answer both of them just in one question, just to make it easy. And yeah. So, yeah, if you want to drop anything also, like, in these little comments, also, maybe I'll just, like, do a quick little answer, if you want to do that, too. And, also, I'm trying to not scratch my face as much, but, like, we're in the phase of growing my beard back where it's just itchy nonstop. So, yeah, I'll excuse that, disregard that, but I'm going to try and not do that as much, and be disciplined and self-controlled throughout this so that we can get some answers going. So, all right, that is enough of a little script here, and let's hop into some of these questions, yeah? All right, so question number 1 is starting off with training and nutrition and a little fitness action because that's what we do here if you're new. So these first 2 questions are along those lines. So question number 1 is this. So this person says that they are needing to lose about 100 or so pounds or 100 plus pounds, and they're asking suggestions on what to focus on first, and asking if, what should we focus on first if we have like more than about 100 pounds to lose, like over 100 pounds that they want to lose, right? Like what should they focus on first? So if I were to break it down into saying on the diet side first, what I would recommend would, in my experience, what's helped me the most is I know a lot of people don't have a whole lot of experience with tracking macros or tracking calories, but that has been the biggest thing that has helped me as far as like weight manipulation goes. So whether I want to like lose body fat or put on muscle, like gaining weight, just like tracking my macros and tracking my calories has been the biggest thing for me. So when it comes to the diet side, that's probably what I would recommend that we start out with first is, hey, okay, my mom is in Cali. All right, mom, enjoy the wedding in Napa. That sounds fun. And yeah, so on the diet side, I would say tracking macros, like using any kind of, maybe that's a big step, but I would say like tracking your calories, tracking your macros via any of, maybe like like starting on that, right? Like maybe using any kind of like apps that help you do that. Like MyFitnessPal's a good one. Lose It's a good one. There's some other like training and fitness like apps on the App Store or the Google Play Store that you could download to like help you out with that. But I would say maybe we start out with tracking our calories, right? And like seeing if we could like consistently hit a certain number of calories day over day. Yeah, what are macros? So macros are basically macronutrients, right? So you have your carbohydrates, your fats, and your proteins, which make up calories essentially. So if you see on a nutrition label that it says like 100 calories or something like that, basically what makes that up are macronutrients, right? So, you know, carbohydrates and fats, carbohydrates and proteins have about 4 calories per gram of those, and then fat have about 9 calories per gram of those. So that's what macronutrients are. But I would say like on that side, on the diet side, maybe that's where we start out with, is just tracking calories, and then maybe we progress over to macros. So yeah. And on the training side, I would probably recommend maybe if you have a lot of weight to lose, like 100 pounds to lose, right? Maybe it might be like sort of intimidating to go to a gym, right? I don't know, right? It might be intimidating. Like I know for me it was, and I was like, when I first started working out, right, it was pretty intimidating. I'm sure like a lot of people can relate to that. And maybe I'd say like when it comes to the training side, where to start, I think it's important to have some kind of resistance training in some kind of like workout routine, right? Just to help with like creating, building muscle, building lean muscle mass on your body, replacing, maybe a certain percentage of body fat that we already have and replacing that with muscle. So I think it's important to have some kind of like resistance training in our workout routine, in our exercise routine, outside of just cardio, maybe if that's like what we're doing, or maybe we're not doing anything yet. But yeah, I would say, and maybe if the gym is intimidating, maybe we start with at-home workouts. Maybe we use bands, like Bradley mentioned right there. Thank you, Bradley. Maybe we start out with like body weight things. Maybe we kind of progress up to using some kind of like other resistance forms that we could use, like maybe like bands or like small amount of weights or something like that. And then maybe you get to a point where you do feel comfortable. Also, like by starting at home and doing workouts at home, it also enables you to get comfortable with doing certain movements and certain exercises that you would feel a little bit more comfortable with transitioning over into the gym and already like being like, oh, I already know what I'm doing, in a way, you know what I mean? So yeah. Hey Kat, hey Casey. Yeah, you like the shirt? I appreciate it, thank you. This is Zara. This is a Zara shirt. So yeah. So and then also maybe we just get an idea as far as like what our steps are, right, on a day-to-day basis. Maybe we shoot for like a certain number of like a good step goal on a day-to-day basis, and tracking our activity level in that sense. But yeah, I'd say like those are good starting points when it comes to if we have like a significant amount of weight to lose, like 100 pounds or something like that. Maybe that's how we start out with on the workout side, and then maybe that's how we start out with on the diet side, and then we sort of, I think tracking is probably the most important when it comes to both of those, so that you can kind of progress, understand if you're having plateaus or whatnot, and then where to make adjustments if that makes sense. So yeah, that's my spiel on the fitness side of things for that question. So yeah, that's the first one. So question number 2 is still fitness related, but it's the last one that we're gonna talk about real quick. And so it is this. So they ask, have you ever thought of doing in-person group training for people to participate in? I personally So like, I think if you're a trainer, I think some people are like really into just like the one-on-one kind of personal training and things like that. I know a lot of people like really enjoy the group training aspect of it, right? I don't know. I think I've never done anything like that. I've worked out with like groups of people before and everything like that, like not like trained groups of people. So I'm sure it'd be all right, like it'd be cool, but I don't know, like I feel like that's not my vibe. I think that's not my space. I think there's a lot of people that do really, really well on group training, but I don't know if I'm necessarily like one of those people. I think I do a lot better with like one-to-one, rather than like a group of people, right? So like that's probably what I would just say to that super quick, to round off our fitness questions for this Q&A. So yeah, I also say it's pretty cool that I can literally just say like, we're doing a Q&A on Fridays at 3 p.m. Pacific time, and like you guys show up and like watch me answer these questions. Like I think that's super cool, and hopefully like it helps you and you get some like value from like watching this, you know what I mean? So yeah. All right, let's get into the taboo stuff, yeah? All right, so like, not that, but like this is important stuff though right here. So next question number 3 out of 10 is, how long have you been a Christian for? And are you much happier now that you are? Yeah, let's talk about faith a little bit, yeah? I made a little reel about this earlier this week, and yeah, so I've actually been a Christian for my whole life. That's how I was raised as a young boy, and yeah, it's been a part of my life ever since I was a little kid. So yeah, I've pretty much been going to church every single Sunday, like ever since I was a little kid, right? Like literally almost every single Sunday. I can't say that it was something that I really like wanted to do, right? It was sort of just that's what my family did, right? So that's what that's what we did, right? So and I didn't really like question it or anything. It was just like, all right, we're going to church every Sunday. We're going to CCD once a week, which is basically church classes, once a week, every single Wednesdays. We did that for like 2.5 hours. That's what we did every single Wednesday night up until probably from when I was like 7 until like 14. I did that for like 7 years of my life when I was growing up. And yeah, and then I got into college and I sort of got away from it a little bit. Like I stopped going to church every single weekend because I started working every single weekend. And I sort of like said that like I didn't have like time to do that. Sort of, I guess, if you want to call it that. But yeah, so I sort of didn't really go to mass as much in college, but I would say about a little over a year ago I started doing that every single Sunday, and yeah, I could absolutely say that I'm like the happiest that I've ever been. Like I think I'm at the most peace that I've ever been since I've like made that a much larger piece of my life. And yeah, I'm definitely stepping into that a little bit more. Like I've always had really good friends around me. I've always had really good people, blessings in my life that has always been at the forefront of their life, right? So I've always been like very blessed to have that in my life, and it's something that I want to make more of my life and become more mature in my faith and in my spiritual journey. So yeah, that's probably what I would say to that. All right, so yeah, after that, let's talk about OnlyFans. Why not? This question is the following: thoughts on OnlyFans and the people who are on there? Would you ever join? I can say without a doubt that that is not something that I will ever partake in. But what are my thoughts on that? I don't think it's really I have no say in what other people want to do, but it's not something that I would ever do. It's not something that I would ever do. So yeah, that's all I'll say on that. And yeah. All right, next question. Still sort of in the same realm of that idea, if you will. And yeah. So this question is the following. It's on sex. So we're talking about, this person asked, do you believe in sex before marriage? And tips on remaining pure during sexual abstinence. So let's get into that a little bit, yeah? So, personally, I don't know if this is like TMI or not, but yeah. Let's see what we want to say to this one. Yeah. I would say, hold on for like a second. All right. I don't know if this is like TMI or anything, but like I personally haven't had sex outside of being in a relationship. So that's just like how I've always sort of just seen it. But I think it's like very special, and I think it's something I totally understand the reason why like people hold off with it all. I think now more than ever. But yeah, like I mean everyone's gonna do what they want to do, right? And I think for me it's like it's just something that I like. If you love someone, then I think you should. I mean, I think it's fine. It's okay. Like I think you probably should do that. I think that makes total sense. And yeah, but I do understand like why someone would. I think it's sort of like it's sort of similar to this idea of like, would you move in with someone like would you live with someone like prior to being married? And I think I used to be on the side of like, yes, like I had to do that. Like I needed to live with someone prior to like, I mean, who knows? I'm not there in my life yet. So like, this is just my thoughts on it. And it's very, I don't think I'm in a position where like it would make sense to like put any validity into my opinion on it. But like, I think like I used to be on this side of like I said, that I needed to live with someone prior to like getting married, right? But I don't know if I'm like that anymore. I think I'm on the side of I think I'm on the side of I probably wouldn't live with them until we're married. I think that's the side that I'm on now. Because yeah. Like I would just say I think that's the side I'm on now, because I just think that like I think that it sort of solidifies it sort of solidifies I guess your relationship, right, is like living with them, right? And I just think that's more significant than I've ever thought about it, really, up until like versus when I was younger, right? And I know like everyone's got different circumstances and everything, but I would say that if possible, like if at all possible, I'd probably not want to live with my girlfriend until we were married. I would just say that. Like, I think finding someone who's like on a similar wavelength when it comes to that, and I think that would be important to me, just because I just think that, I think it's like, all right, I'm taking this serious. We're moving in. Like, and it's like, well, how do you know? How do I know that it, like, you're taking this serious? Like, and they might be like, well, how do I know that you're taking this serious if we're not like married, right? And we're moving in together. But like, everyone's got their own opinion on that. But like, that's how I like see it. Is that so? Yeah, no, I didn't like dive too much into that, but I don't really want to dive too much into that, because everyone's got their own like feelings on that. So yeah. And tips on remaining pure during sexual abstinence. That's the reason why I just kind of approached this question in that manner and saying that like I've never had sex like outside of a relationship. But like tips on remaining pure, I think that's just, I don't know. The only way that I feel like that I can properly answer that question is that this is how I've always seen it, is like if I was like gonna have sex like outside of a relationship, like there's something that's not right like in my life that's not giving me life or not giving me love or not giving me contentment or like happiness or fulfillment, that I'm like seeking that outside of a relationship, that I'm needing to like pursue that like outside of a relationship. So yeah, I think that's how I would probably answer that question. And you know, everyone thinks about it differently. Like these are super maybe controversial topics, I don't know, and I don't really I mean, this is just how I see it, and like no one else's opinion is gonna like affect how I see it, right? But this has worked for me, and I guess I'm blessed and lucky that I haven't like felt like I needed to that, you know. But like if it is something that you're like struggling with, relating to that, like maybe just like trying things, you know, that sort of might like bring you sort of like acceptance of like of you know, and working on progressing yourself and developing yourself into someone that is strong in that area of your life. So yeah, that's probably what I would say to that. All right, so we're about halfway through. I feel like this is I feel like it's going pretty decently smoothly, probably better than I thought it would. So sometimes I surprise myself at how bad these are, and sometimes I surprise myself at how like decent these actually come across. And right now, like I'm just feeling very sometimes I'm like very nervous when I'm on these, and sometimes I'm just like very chill. And I feel like right now I feel very chill with it all, to be transparent. And yeah. All right, so next question is we're getting out of that stuff. So this question's on this. So what is your For You page filled of? So For You page on TikTok is hey Jesse, hey what's up, man? Yeah, thanks, man. Have a great rest of your day, dude. I appreciate you tuning in. So yeah, what is on my For You page? Well, I will say that I'll preface it by saying that I don't really use TikTok a whole lot, but I'm actually curious, like if you guys had to like open up your phone and like use a social media like app, would you choose Instagram or would you choose TikTok? Like which one would you go with? Because for me, it's like Instagram, but I think it's like slowly becoming like people are like gonna choose like people, I don't know. I think like I would not use TikTok. Like I don't really go on TikTok. I just don't like really watch like things like that, you know what I mean? But like it's always just like Instagram. So Instagram, TikTok. Okay, it's like what I expected, you know, TikTok. I think it's like what you like want to get out of it. Like I think Instagram. TikTok is just yeah. But why I just asked that is because, or why I said that is because I don't know, like what's on my Explore page probably like says more about me than like what's on my For You page, you know what I mean? So what's on my Explore page is how I'm going to answer that is what's on my Explore page on Instagram is it's literally, I think it's funny. I think you can tell like so much about someone like if you looked at like what their Explore page was on Instagram, you know what I mean? And yeah, I guess like what's on mine nowadays is like it's a lot of dogs, it's a lot of dog videos, it's a lot of those like pictures, you know, that have the quotes on it that are like motivational quotes. So it's really like dogs, motivational quotes and just like some fitness stuff in there is like on my Explore page. But yeah, wasn't always like that, but that's what it is now, because yeah, that's what we're about. So yeah, that's what's on my Explore page. I have no idea what's on my For You page, literally. And yeah, so cool. All right. So yeah, we got 6 questions done. I got 4 more coming at you, and that'll let you go. Have a lovely Friday. But yeah. All right. Question number 7 is this. It's kind of just like mindset related, right? So it's super simple, short and simple. It's how do you stay strong? How do you stay kind and strong, even on your bad days, even on your off days? How do you stay kind and how do you stay strong on maybe you have an off day or something like that, right? So yeah, I guess I'll just tell a quick story real quick. Like, so when I used to work, when I was like, I think one of the most interesting parts of like if you're blessed enough to go to college, to study what you want to do for the rest of your life. And I think one of the most interesting, at least for me, and challenging points of my life has been coming out of college and starting my career. And just to like speak on that super quickly is I think you kind of just get like kind of like feels like you get like run into a brick wall like coming out of college, because it's all like happy-go-lucky. It's not really stakes are super low. There's it's a whole like social scene, right? It's like fun and games, you know what I mean? It's not really, you're not really having to like do a whole lot, you know what I mean? I mean, sure, it's probably like there's some challenging like school work and everything like that, but I think like after you graduate from college and you start your career is that was like probably one of the hardest times for me. And you basically say like I started my career like working like a hell of a lot of hours in the real world, like literally smacks you in the face, right? 100%. Like I started like virtual. I started working like very like literally every single day, 8-hour days, like 60-70 hour weeks, like right out of college. I had an accounting job, worked as an auditor, and it was all virtual and busy. We had like busy season, right, where we worked like a lot of hours for like the first quarter of the year, like Q1 of every single year, right? And that was hard, not gonna lie. That was pretty freaking hard, yeah. But like I had done no work, like aside from just going to the gym and everything. I was like not prepared for graduating college, like straight up. And it's like, so basically during that time, to answer this question, I was like, I'd still try and work out like first thing in the morning because I'd get off work super, super late. And I mean, you didn't know like when you're going to get off work. Like sometimes you could be working until very, very late at night. And in my eyes, I'm trying to like make a good first impression, and I'm just like, I don't know when to stop working. So I'm just like working. That's like all I'm doing. Because like I just am, I'm just been like, oh, this kid just is a hard worker and he like does what he needs to do and everything. You know what I mean? So I was just trying to make a good first impression, but I try and like work out in the morning so I could still get my workouts in, but I like during that time period, I would sort of like just force myself to like find something to look forward to, like every single day. I would like force myself to like look for, like feel good about, feel like happy and feel like looking forward to something in my days. So sometimes that was lunch. Sometimes that was literally lunch, like looking forward to lunch that I could like get off of work, and like not work, you know what I mean? And but most days it was actually listening. It was driving to the gym, listening to my music in the mornings, like first thing in the morning. And I like thought to myself, like, if this is like all that I have to look forward to every day, I'm gonna be okay, you know? And like I just like think back to that, where I was just like, you know, I guess the situation that I found myself in was like me like not really making a whole, like I didn't know what I wanted to do like with what I was doing. I was just like, all right, I'm graduating from school, I got this degree, like this is the job I'm gonna take, right? And you sort of, you know, I wanted to give it time to see if it was something that like made sense for me, and I still wanted to get my CPA license. I needed like a year of work experience to get that, because like there's so much that went into that as far as like studying and getting all my schooling and everything. So I had to work for at least a year, and like I couldn't just jump ship. I mean, I could, and I almost did. I literally was so close to doing that a handful of times, but I stuck it out. And like the day, so I just kind of reflect back on that and thinking that like where I find myself now, where like I literally, you know, it's a different type of challenge nowadays, you know what I mean? But I think amidst that time, I think what I was able to figure out about me, at least, like what worked for me, was that I found something that I could look forward to and feel like happy about, like within each and every single one of my days. And for me, that was working out before my day started, and like listening to my music, like driving to the gym, right? Like I had this control over something in my life, and I had a way of like feeling good about myself. I had a way of seeing progress, like not like physically seeing progress like in the mirror, and then also like in my own strength. And that made me feel really good, you know? And like listening to my music, driving to the gym, I felt like this superhero just was driving to the gym, and I felt like I was like in a movie or something, you know? And I kind of like made this up in my head, like this was the reality in my head. And then I would like come back and like do my like accounting job back home at my mom's house, and I kind of like left that movie, you know what I mean? And but I still had that movie that I could look forward to like the next day and the next day and the next day, right? That like was like in my mind, that I knew was like coming up, right? And so yeah. But like basically, how do you say kind and strong? I kind of just like reflect on that and just think that like each and every day I have something that I can look forward to regardless of like what's going on in my life. I have like my workouts in the morning that I can look forward to and feel good about myself. I can like listen to my music that I really like. I can look forward to my reading, like, and I can gain something from my reading. I can look forward to listening to my podcast. I can look forward to I think it's like self-development is what I'm really attracted to. And really lately I'm listening to a lot of I started listening to some worship podcasts, and it's sort of like my version of like Bible study every single day in the morning. And that's what I've tried to do. And I'll get a little bit more into this. Maybe I'll answer that right now. Is like I was talking about my faith a little bit earlier. I used to not know, and I'm like I said, I'm looking forward to like maturing in my faith journey, my spiritual journey. But I used to not know what. If you ever like go to mass or anything, you see people in their Instagram bio, it's pretty popular that people do this nowadays, or like wherever they'll like quote scripture from the Bible. And I used to not really know how to read that, right? If it was like John 12:8 or something like that, I'm like, was it like John 12:8? Like, how do you read that? I don't know. And so, come to find out now, apparently you read that, it's John chapter 12, verse 8. That's how you do it. So, like, I didn't really even know how to read that. So, like I said, like, I'm super early, like, when it comes to being, like, pretty immature, like, when it comes to my faith, but that's what I do in the mornings is lately, like, that's what I really look forward to is, like, my version of, that's, like, my Bible study. Like, every morning is, like, I'll listen to some kind of worship podcast. And it's usually, what I really like are just the ones that sort of, I could tell they're sort of like Sunday recordings of like a message, right? And that I have a note in my app. It's called Reminders. I like to keep all my reminders, like things that I listen to from a podcast in there. But that's my version of a Bible study. And what I'm trying to do lately is, I'm trying to like remember scripture, like readings is like, and I think that's helped me a lot lately, but it's very difficult to do. And so like people like do this, like quote it off the noggin. I'm like, how do you do that? Like I think that's super cool, and like that's something that I want to be able to do. But like I want to do that because it helps me, not just I just want to do it because it like really helps me and it reminds me and it like serves me so well throughout the rest of my day, right? So that's been something that I've started to do that very, very recently, but I'm really liking that. So yeah, that was kind of a long answer, but yeah, we got 3 more questions. The last 2 are super quick, but this one is the following. So it's this is the question: are you looking to date right now? Are you afraid of not finding the one? So I think this is why I chose this question, is because I was thinking about this a little bit ago, and I wanted to just like share this because I think it can help a little bit. So I've mentioned this a few times, but I've sort of I've taken a hiatus from the whole dating world for a little bit because for whatever reason, but I was kind of thinking about this, like the amount of I would say like development and progress that I've personally made in becoming who I am like nowadays is pretty remarkable from like in just like seeing like who in the past 2 years, really year and a half basically. And I was thinking about this like I was actually thinking about this very recently. Like I said, I was thinking like, well, where was I was thinking about like where I was like 1 year ago today, and like how much progress I have made in the past like 365 days. And I was thinking like, wow, like a year ago, what was I doing a year ago? That's sort of like what I like placed my like mindset in. And I was thinking, it's like a year ago, I was sort of like getting over a breakup. I was like leaving this job. Like where was I like in like what was around my environment? Like what was going on? So I was like a year ago, like I was leaving this job. I was like getting over a breakup, and I was like, well, nowadays, I'm like doing really well at like what I'm doing for work, when it comes to like what I do for work, and I'm not getting over a breakup or anything like that, right? So I'm like free, right? I'm like free. I'm not like emotionally handicapped or anything like that. I'm not traumatically handicapped in any means, and yeah. And then I was thinking like, well, a year before that, where was I a year before that, right? And basically from like 21, 22, 23, 24, each of those time periods, like a year ago from now, like a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I was getting over like a breakup, I was like leaving a relationship. And I was thinking like, well, I'm starting to see some kind of trend here. And I'm like, Connor, like maybe it's just best for you if you just like chill out and just like, it's like just seeing like the progress I've made for like just this past year, and just being like single and like learning how to love myself more, become more of like a man of faith, and just like my own personal development, I'm like, I can't imagine like where I'm gonna be at like next year if like, you know, if like similar like circumstances arise where like I'm in a similar boat right now, and like not dating or anything like that. I'm thinking like, well, where am I gonna be like next year if I look back on right now, like a year from now, and think, what was I doing last year? It's like, well, I was actually a year out from trying to get over like a relationship. I was a year out of trying to like figure out what to do with work. Like I was a year into really like stable work and like figuring out like my career and everything going forward. And like I'm like, well, where am I gonna be at like if that's a year from now? And I look back and it'll be like 2 years. And then like what if it's like 3 years? What if it's like 4 and 5, you know? So yeah, I kind of told myself like I'm good until I feel like I'm just gonna keep pouring into me and learning how to like love me like as much as I can, like to the best of my ability, like each and every day, like just keep figuring that out, and like helping and sharing along like my journey and like how I'm progressing and developing and growing on socials and everything. So yeah, but and then the second part of that question is like, are you afraid of not finding the one? I was listening to, I mentioned this on the last IG Live, but I was listening to this podcast of with Ed Milet and Matthew McConaughey last week, and Matthew McConaughey was talking about how he met his wife, and I thought it was funny. He was saying like he was looking for his wife like everywhere, right? Like that he was trying to like project her, you know, into his like world, you know what I mean? And I think there's something to that like that's super normal. Like I think if you want someone in your life, like that's what you're probably gonna do. Like that's certainly what I've been trying to do. But he said, he's like, I thought it was funny. He goes, I was like looking for her everywhere. I was looking for her in the produce aisle. I was looking for her in the meat section. I was looking for her, you know, at like just these random places, you know what I mean? And he's like, until he reached, he goes on to say basically until he reached the point where he was kind of okay with like, maybe he would like actually like go grow up, you know, mature in his life and not be, like not be a father and like not have a family and things. And he was kind of just like, okay, I'm okay with that possibly happening, you know? And then he met his wife and stuff. So, yeah. And I'd probably just echo a lot of that in saying that, like, that's something that I'm not really like super like obsessing over anymore. It's something that like I'm good if that is gonna come in. If it's not gonna come in, I'm good for now, you know. And yeah, but yeah, that's probably just what I would have to say on that. And yeah, so I'm not afraid. I'm like, cool. I kind of told myself like, unless it's like undeniable, if it comes in over the next like several years, like it just has to be undeniable. That's probably what I would say to that. And yeah, so all right, that's all I got on that one. We have some guests on this episode. so yeah, and then just these last two real quick, I'll just include here. So there are these. Number 9 is, have you ever slid into someone's DMs? I have done that. I haven't done that in a very, very long time. But yeah, that was, I mean, who hasn't done that? You know, I mean, if you're a guy, I think it's probably a lot more common if you're a guy. Probably. I think it's almost expected. But I haven't done that. I haven't done that in a very long time. Based off of my answer on the last one, because it's like, I'm good right now. Yeah. So, and last question is, who do you have pinned on iMessage? Who do you have pinned on iMessage? So I feel like some people might not like me for this, but I think when you were able to like pin people on iMessage, I didn't like realize you could do that with like a certain update or something. And like I know people do that. I like know obviously, I don't know. Do people like do people do that? Do people do? Does everyone pin people on iMessage? Because I don't have a single person pinned on iMessage, to be completely honest with you. I probably should pin people, but I don't know. I don't have a single person pinned on iMessage. So yeah, that's all I got. Hopefully this was like a cool. Let me know. Like, do you guys like who else doesn't have anyone pinned on iMessage? Let me know. Most people don't. Okay, I felt like most. I didn't know what I thought. I just assumed like most people didn't, but I also thought that I wasn't like tech savvy in that way. You know what I mean? But yeah, let me know if you have anyone pinned on iMessage in the comments when you're watching this, and I will see you guys in the next one. Yeah. All right. Have a safe Friday night. Have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you soon. Peace.